tell us, how close was you with Charles Bronson? Like, was you close enough to give us a character of him?
Yeah.
So what was he like? Because from out here, if we don't know, the idea is that he's in there, he's having it with all the screws, he ain't playing with no one can't tell him nothing, he's just an out-and-out bad man. Is that the case?
No. I've only ever, I know, like, I saw him in Belmarsh 25 years ago, but in the Catties, I spent time with him in block, because he gets to move block to block, Whitemore, blah blah, down again, I'm down a block for a lie down, and he's been there, calls me out the window and blah blah blah, but you know, he puts his ear to the window and says, when you think he's gone, he says, oh, did someone just say something about me, you know, like, his thing, but he's got a big ego, he can have a row, and he's representing it, if you like doing the screws and all that, but what else? He is quite a nice bloke to talk to, very friendly and whatnot, but you can't tell me that he's like Gary Tyson. Don't make me laugh, Darren. He ain't got all them array of skills. You're not in the thick of it like that day after day after day. Gary's got a brain on his shoulders, and we know. You think Gary's just going to turn up, and if there's a better fight than him, that you think Gary's just going to go, yeah. Gary's got a plan B. He's got that before he gets there. You know what Charles Bronson's going to come with. You know it's just going to be a row. It don't mean that he can't get done. Because I'll tell you what, there's some creepy people around the Catties, little, small, you know, never getting out and blah, 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 or desperate down like me when you're on the gear, you need something and blah, blah. They will run up on you and they will do something.
Yeah.
You know, and it's easy done.
Okay, so on that note, tell me, what is the baddest thing you ever saw happen to a bad man? A man who really thought no one can't tell him nothing. What was the worst thing he took sitting in a jail cell?
The Lord is my light and my salvation. On whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evil men advance against me to devour my flesh, when my enemies and my foes attack me, they will stumble and fall. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then will I be confident. One thing I ask of the Lord, and this is what I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, and to seek him in his temple. For in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his tabernacle, and set me high upon a rock. Then my head will be exalted above the enemies who surround me. At his tabernacle will I sacrifice with shouts of joy. I will sing music and make music to the Lord. Hear my voice when I call, O Lord. Be merciful to me and answer me. My heart says of you, seek his face. Your face, Lord, I will seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my helper. Do not reject me or forsake me, O God, my Saviour. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Teach me your way, O Lord. Lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. Do not hand me over to the desire of my foes, for false witnesses rise up against me, breathing out violence. I am still confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart, and wait patiently for the Lord. Amen. Charlie Bronson, you can say whatever he wants. He doesn't come up from the block. Yeah, he's known for beating up screws, and he can have a right row. I've witnessed him have a fight through the door.
Yeah.
In the new block. I've seen the shields come out for him. I was on the yard one day and I wouldn't come off, and he was telling me to stay out there. Don't come, go in, let them come for me. And you can get past the second shield. You know, but you're not going on the wing to face the music because you don't like socialising and being around big things. Gary does. And I'll tell you as a matter of fact that they would want to take away who Gary really is.
Yeah.
To make it seem that he's not
Yeah.
You know, but the truth is, Darren, that he is.
Yeah.
He is.
But with regards because you like Gary,
yeah,
you're not giving us more than it is because of how you feel about him.
No, ask me about it. He just said he's not my friend.
Yeah.
He's not my friend. He doesn't see me that way. You know,
yeah.
He's saved me a couple of times. I've done a couple of things for him. It doesn't matter. I love him as a person.
Yeah.
I love all the ones I've mentioned. I love as people.
Yeah.
And there's a couple that I haven't mentioned that I didn't like, but I still put them up there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, Darren?
Yeah.
I can tell you by what I've seen throughout all those years and all the problems that are around that.
Yeah.
Because I was there. So I know who's in the mix with who and who's not and whatever.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? I know where the propaganda can come from. I was good at that.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But, you know, some of those guys, they're heavy stuff.
Yeah.
They're heavy stuff, but I'm willing, you know, they it comes to biting off more than you can chew, you know, and taking it on whether you know, because a lot of the time when you're making a name for yourself, you take this easy target, there's not much coming back.
Yeah.
So you can build up. It's like a fighter who starts with 20 nobodies kind of thing. Not saying that they're doing that, but on whatever day and whatever, you know, how he feels, he's ready.
Yeah.
He's ready, and he'll take it to whatever way the level needs to be done.
Okay.
So I mean, if that one deserves a backhand, that's that one. If that one deserves weapons, or that one is getting so serious, he'll know the difference.
Yeah.
And he will know how far to take it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of men who say that I'll take this, I'll take that, and it don't matter really. No. There's certain man. That's how we used to say. Them man, they're BADMAN for me.
Yeah.
You see it.
Okay.
And that's the reality of it, because there's certain names that I'm calling them bad. But in my opinion, if you go in a room with blah 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 and the door shut, you can't win that.
Yeah.
You're not wicked enough to where he's going.
Yeah.
But you're wicked enough for other things and people.
Yeah.
So when it goes wrong for you, that's because that person's gone a bit further than you.
Yeah.
So that means you underestimated how far you would have to go to match that. And that's the reality of it, Darren. And a lot of people that come to the cates, they can't live that way.
Yeah.
Anyone can do. I've done them running up on a scatty one and tap my man in his head and run off on half-hearted hits to get the food, because I'm only doing it because I want the food. But now and again you do the odd little tap here, and it gets into a struggle, and you don't even really want to stand there for long, because you know why you're doing it. You don't really hate the person.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Darren. But I call it as a many bad man. There's names that you don't even you don't get involved in too much. You can talk about Carl Dennis, you can talk about Courtney Needham, you can talk about Tony Powell, Bucky, you can talk about Tony Daniels, Super. They're not bad, wicked where they're putting it out every day, but I've seen them when it comes on top, they can have a row. Yeah. And they can get the better of most. There's a lot of people that have got that kind of ability, but to be, you know, to hold it, stand there and take it on. I'm from London. I'm Gary Tyson. Look, it's all going to go this way. Don't worry, you can rely on me. Yeah. Because you're taking on everybody else's baggage too. Yeah. That's nothing to do with you, but you're helping. Yeah. But I'm telling you, without Gary Tyson in the cates, London wouldn't be the same thing. You see, you know how I feel. You know how I feel. Blossom on the trees, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Afternoon, boys. Nice to see you, Darren.
How you doing?
You okay today? Yes, sir.
Okay, you know the setup. DARDEST TV in association with Block 5 Entertainment. Yeah. And we're back again. We're here with the one and only Yammy B. He's saying you're looking joyful over there.
Yeah. It's a real good time for me. You've caught me at the right time in life.
Okay, you're out here, the sun's shining.
Yeah, I'm out there, but it's a new life for me, Darren. I'm starting my life again.
Okay, well, let's get into this then. First of all, I'll put it to you that this is your interview.
Yeah.
So with this interview, we're asking you, are we going to hear the facts of your life?
Yeah.
No lies are going to be in this interview.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay, we're going to start this off with the facts of, I've been told that you've done 37 of the last 40 years in one jail cell or another.
Yeah, fact.
Okay, that's a story in itself. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to ask you, obviously when I sit down for these interviews, people say where they're from. Someone might be a South man, an East man, a North man, a West man. Where are you officially from? What areas do you claim?
I'm officially from Ladbroke Grove, Harrow Road, Mozart, and Lisson Green, and a bit of Brixton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to start this at the top. The name, Yammy B.
Yeah.
I heard it come, some of it, through you being jammy.
Yeah.
Well, I'd ask you, just how jammy is a man that spent 37 years in a jail cell?
Darren, that's a good question, because that's the life I chose, and I made my life in prison, and I glorified in that Yammy name, and it was like an invention. A man named me it, and I kind of liked it and played up to the crowd.
Yeah, but you yourself, would you say you've been jammy in life?
My things are all self-inflicted.
Yeah.
A lot of my crimes are self-destruction with addictions and the way I felt about myself, not wanting to live at various times. So I didn't really care how long I stayed out. And basically, if I said I was lucky in prison and jammy with a lot of the things that I've been involved in and seen over the years, I think that Jammy Yammy name is made more for a prison environment. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you my perception of you so far. You seem like a joyful man. You're bubbly, you're uplifting, you've got some funniness in you, you're nice with it. How's this possible for a man that not long ago couldn't even walk, was paralysed, looking like he'd never be able to jump about again?
I look at it's more the spirit and the energy, Darren. It was more misguided in the wrong places. Like you take things, it changes your character. But I always knew and accepted when I was wrong and what I was doing was wrong. And when you have to spend large periods incarcerated, you've got to have accepted what you've done, so that when you go to prison, it makes it easier every day, rather than to wake up and feel like none of it's my fault. I basically took on the different thinking behind it all. And
okay, well, let me get on to something now. Obviously, with regards you yourself, this interview's going to be coming out. So when it comes out, are you sure you're going to be able to watch it, or are you going to sit in another prison cell somewhere?
No, Darren, it's over for me.
Most definitely,
definitely, Darren. It is definitely 100% over for me. I'm not interested in no past life. I've been every jail in the country. I went to jail at 12 years old. I've been in the institution every year for 43 years. I've had one Christmas out in 36 years. Obviously, being when I was paralysed and crippled and told that I was never going to use my hands and walk again, and I spoke to God in intensive care, and I've got my first real relationship happening in life where I'm getting married, and there's other things that obviously the interviewee will learn about as the interview goes on. But, I'm done and dusted, and I'm done with doing bad things to people. I honestly haven't got it in me, Darren, to do anything. Especially a lot of my crimes were to people that really didn't do anything to me. And those hardships I suffered, and that anger and that love and loss and rejection that I never had as a kid, that, you know, that make you the kind of person that you turn out to be, you know, throughout the years, but you don't identify and come to terms with those things. That you understand that you're feeling, you're just reacting, that you don't like those feelings, and then you start reacting in really different ways to really how your character really is. Okay, well, with this interview, we're going to give them that story from the beginning. We're going to go into all aspects of your life. But before we go into that, I just want to clear up one thing. Is there any prison in this country that you haven't visited? Some C cats, some B cats. I'll say out of all the prisons, probably I've probably not been to, you know, a third of them, or just under a 16th of them. But the majority. From a very, very young age, I was going to jail from very, very early, and I went to adult prison at 19 and 20 and got starred up. But
So would you say, because of the way your upbringing was, and you never really saw the love properly, would you say that you classed prison as home? Because it seems like you really did like prison.
Darren, I didn't really expect to live. I was just on like a one track kind of way of living, and you know, the crime sprees, and ending back up in prison after a few short weeks of madness, and then going to try and live the same way in prison that I lived outside. And you know, and you meet a lot of people along the way, and you see a lot of stuff, but I didn't notice, Darren. I didn't really notice. I didn't come up for air to think that at some stage in life that, you know, I would realise that I was totally wrong about the things and the way that I went on. You know, it's not really it wasn't a realistic way of, it was more of a self-harm thing, to be honest.
So you've been honest on the fact that you said you was on food. Like, you ain't hiding that. So I'll ask you, did that food mess up your life? Did that food make you go down a lot of paths that you wouldn't have if you'd have thought more clearly?
Definitely 100%, because I'm not the same man. When I'm clean, but I knew that. I knew that certain drugs made me crazy. I knew that I would do things that I wouldn't do if I was clean, you know, like when your head's scatty and you're a raving nutter and whatnot. On those things, I used to know if I touched those things, it'd make me a bit more dangerous. So you hide it behind stuff, really. I'm a believer today that I wasn't really addicted to the drugs because of the feeling like itself, like I was enjoying the moment. It was more of like the battle within myself, the self-obsession, the hatred of yourself and what you really think about yourself. You know, you're tearing it apart from limb to limb, and then you have moments when you're clean and you realise that, you know, you were better off as you were.
So what about now? Are you in no way taking anything, nothing to do with no sort of drugs?
No, Darren, no, that's a no-go for me.
Okay, and apart from now, when you've changed, what was the longest you ever went in your life without taking any sort of food?
6 months.
And what was that like for you in that 6 months?
But I used to get clean for the wrong reasons. I used to go down, tear my body apart, and then because of the prison thing, it'd give me something to do to build it back up. And then it used to come back. It used to come back quite quickly. So I used to want everything. I wanted to be, you know, partying like that, still have my physique, and then try and keep your mind. But it's not humanly possible if you're going without eating and drinking water, because a lot of that, them 40 years in prison, I never really, it's not like I ate real good in the cat A's and the B's and all that. I was running around, but, you know, it was a bread and water thing for me.
Okay, well, let's get on to the fact of when you was young. Let's start this from hearing that, on my thinking, you started seeing lockups with regards kid lockups, anything at the year of 12. So tell us, what was your life like before that? What was you seeing up to 12 years old?
Before the care, the children's homes, it was more, I don't know, like football, but I was very small for my age, Darren. When I was 12, I looked about 4. My bone structure was, they thought there was problems with me as a kid, because they said I didn't start puberty and like things like that until I was like 19. So they used to have to keep bringing me hospital and things like that because they thought I was too small, my development of certain things and that. But now before the times of care, it wasn't really a happy household for me. My father was Asian, my mum was white English, and we went to school in West London, Ladbroke Grove and Harrow Road, and then Lisson Green. I went to a good school for a little bit in Quinton Kenniston, but I got taken up quite early, Darren.
Yeah.
Like my dad had a stroke, my mum took an overdose, so there was nobody to look after me and my sisters. So social services turned up on the doorstep and brought us physically late at night. I'll always remember that night. It was a very, very emotional night in the rain, and it was cold, and we all had our pyjamas on. And we was outside the children's home in Westbourne Park near Ladbroke Grove, and got brought in there. And I never came to terms with it. I never liked being away from my mother. Very, very difficult for me. My sisters took to it a bit better than me.
Yeah.
But no. It's very sad. I stayed there for a couple of years, and them days when you're going to school, there's not many people in the 70s and 80s that are in care and going to school from children's homes, and you know that you're different. You know that your mum won't be waiting after school for you, and your dad's not going to be there, and you know you're going to have to walk back to the children's home, and you know you get teased off the other kids and things like that. You know, I got a lot of protection at school. Again, you know, there's no screaming about that for me, but you know, I suffered serious abuse in that children's home. They used to get away with murder in the 70s. Some of them authority figures, real horrible people, and the wrong kinds. We know there's bad apples everywhere. But I suffered serious abuse, and then after a year or two, I didn't want to go into school with all that baggage, and I used to cry easy as a small boy. And one day, I didn't want to go to school because it hurt too much what was happening to me in the children's home. And one day I refused to go to school, and that same man picked me up out of the chair and threw me out the front door and locked it outside the front door of the children's home. And when I landed on the floor, all the other kids were on the balcony waiting to go to school, and everyone started laughing at me.
Yeah.
And I went into my school bag, I took out the geometry set, and sadly I took the wrong course of action, and I pulled out a compass, which was a thing that you used to make drawings with round, you know, in them circle things. It was the only thing that I had, and remember, I'm only about 3 or 4 foot high then, and he's about 6'5". But I pressed the bell, and all that anger was released in those moments. And when the door opened, I went charging in and stabbed him about 40, 50 times.
Yeah.
And he fell backwards, and I'll never forget the adrenaline that I felt, you know, having been so small and out of everybody, and to get out of there with the bag and get on the school bus. I always remember the breathing and how happy I was that I could stick up for myself. You know, that you think that you're smaller and you're being victimised and bullied, and you're finding it hard to say no and things like that, Darren. But
what was the comeback for him? Like,
the
what
comeback
happened
was
to him?
I got on the bus. I got on the school bus, and I got to school, and then by lunchtime the police were coming there for me.
Yeah.
And then they come and got me, and then I got brought to another children's home, which was a securer one, for a few days. And you know, they charged me with something, and he died a few weeks later, but not because of my injuries, but they made it believe that it was, you know, it contributed a little bit, but it wasn't. He hit his head on something. But we ended up in Stamford House.
Yeah.
From court, crying, which was a young boy prison down in Goldhawk Road.
Yeah.
And that was a bit down by Shepherd's Bush, and they put me in there, and you know, I started meeting all the young ones then, and you know, I was the smallest there as well.
Yeah.
I just remember Chris Eubank was there when I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to protect me. Good man, he was.
Yeah. What was he like as a young one?
Well, I went into his dormitory first.
Yeah.
And he used to call me Babyface. And he used to say to me, you don't even look like you're 10, man, you shouldn't be here. And then obviously I was crying every day, you know, it was the emotional time as a kid. Yeah. You know, like being away in homes and straight into the big league as it is, with all people that are robbers and stealers, and you know, them days there, and the baddest kids around were in Stamford House. And Chris Eubank, I was there for a few months, and always used to pick me for the football team though. But yeah, Chris Eubank, he was a shoplifter then, and he still sounded the same as when I saw him years later on TV. He was a good-hearted man, Chris Eubank.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the day that he come out with he come out to protect me, because he was kind of a bigger kid than like for his age. He had big bums, he had his physique, and he come out there for me and whatnot. And yeah, from that really, I was supposed to go to a pre-school from there, but they thought I was too small, and then I went to live in a children's home in Mozart estate, and that's when all the stealing started. Yeah.
And what was you seeing in there? Who was you meeting in there?
In Stamford House or in Mozart?
In the Mozart.
In Mozart, yeah.
The Stamford House, you met Chris.
I met Chris Eubank.
Who else?
There was a few names from way back in the day.
Yeah.
That went on to be. Let me think about Stamford House.
And which one of them was the Proof House?
Yeah, the approved school happened after Mozart.
Yeah.
That was after I went to Mozart, and then I started to get involved in the burgling and looking at them guys at even my age and older wearing their skin shoes and their ducats and cougarans and chaparitas and those kind of things. And I wanted to be like that. And where I was small, and I had that little innocence, they started bringing me out with them and making me knock on the front doors, and then if there's no one in, like I'd knock on a door with a bucket and sponge, like I would be doing the Boy Scout thing. Like I want to wash your car, and if you're not in, then the bigger boys will go in, or they put me through the window. I'd open up the window, and then I'd be letting them in. Yeah. And then during that time, my first who I idolised as a boy, Adam, he was like to me at that time, he was the bee's knees. Yeah. And that for his age group, and he brought me somewhere, Darren, and I'll never forget it. It was over Regent's Park. It was early doors years, and we was in a big mansion, and I was finding all these things, but I didn't know what they was. Yeah. And he was saying, "Oh, these are diamonds, these are this, these are that." He goes, "Put it all away, Sammy. You've got it. We've done it, and do it." And he took me shopping, and he got me my first pair of skins. Yeah. My lizards and my Crocs, and but they couldn't get a size to fit me, Darren. So everything was either a bit big or a bit too tight. Yeah. And then you got the safari suits and whatnot, and then in Mozart days there was all the blueses down Grove and Harrow Road, and I used to put them on for that, and get squeezed in them dances. Them days everything was always jam packed, no space to move at all. Yeah. But I look fondly back on that. Obviously that's the start for me, and it didn't end well for me, but sentimentally I always identify Mozart as my most the bits where I hold on to when you're in a prison cell. You've got nothing else to think about. I think about those the girls, the boys, the ones you fancied you couldn't get. When everybody used to go out, it was more of a dancing thing, because the Lovers Rock thing was out then. Yeah. And everybody used to be dancing with girls in there, but where I was so small and I was a different colour kind of thing, it was hard for me to, they used to teach me how to dance, and then they used to show me they used to stretch out their hands and pull girls that way while the music changes, and then I used to try and do it, and everybody used to slap my hand away, and I used to always end up in the corner without no dance or nothing. Yeah. But I learned, I learned. But I did love those days. The harmony, the music was more conscious. Yeah. And in the end, I did get 1 or 2 dances, and there weren't that many. But after that, I went to. They said that I didn't get arrested at that time. Fun enough, Darren, but where I was wearing all that nice stuff as a small boy, they said, "No, the social worker said you've got to go to a preschool." Yeah. Which was the baddest boys, out in the countryside, West Grinstead, Horsham, Sussex, St Thomas Moors, where it's run by brothers, and it's a real test of your thing, because they slap you up there, and you used to get a clip round the ear roll and things like that. But,
before we get into the proof school though, while you was running around Mozart and people was getting to know you was getting in with people, what do you think they was classing you as? Like, what was you, a burglar? What was your thing?
Yeah, no, it was the high class premises burglary. Yeah. Yeah, not round the corner. Nah. Right from day one we didn't
like in Mozart, even though you can't, it's not good to steal off anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, but the class of Mozart and West London was much more different to other sides of London. Like the majority of us, we were not really looking to go around the corner and do similar places to what we live in.
Yeah,
you know, that kind of
bigger,
thing.
Yeah,
we're surrounded by St John's Wood, Maida Vale.
Yeah,
you know, you're born. It's not, you only have to walk around the corner, and you're in nice areas.
Yeah. And what was the biggest thing you saw in your two hands, like when you was doing what you was doing? What was you seeing?
What for
yourself? Like, no, just for them younger years.
The
like,
younger years was the biggest thing I saw was a Lord Mayor's chain with a big ducket on it.
Yeah.
And my friend was wearing it.
Yeah.
But it was me that found it.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely massive, and it used to come all the way around there, and it used to stand there wearing it. And obviously I was too small to wear it.
Yeah.
And but I always used to envision that one day that'd be me. I could go out there and stand up like him and wear that and see what the crowd say about that kind of thing, Darren. It was always, I was thinking ahead to look like how they looked and walked and talked. But yeah.
So let's get into the proof school.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you're in there now. It's vicious. There's a lot of things going down. If you're not built for it, you're in problems.
Yeah.
What was you seeing in there, and who was you seeing? Was there any other names in there that was official?
Yeah. Funny enough, there was. When I first got there, I was a baby when I was a boy, Darren. It always felt like every institution that I went in, I didn't want to stay.
Yeah.
I think it was from day dot when I left Mum, and you know that loss, and you never come to terms with feeling settled in one place.
Yeah.
And I used to always want to run away. Everybody else was going to their parents for the weekend, but mine wasn't stable enough.
Yeah.
And there was others there as well that had to suffer that fate. But that's where I met my old mate Austin. Austin Gardner was there in the proof school with me.
Yeah.
And Darren Reynolds and Dave Rawrison. There was a few.
One of the Reynolds was there as well. Yeah.
Running around Darren was there. Like, they was all there.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was lucky there as well. I was lucky as well because I had protectors there. When I was so small as well. And we used to go out to the discos and that on the weekends to the country, and we'd all be. It was always like someone's there with you.
Yeah.
Even from an early age, it wasn't really free.
Yeah.
You know, I never felt totally free like I feel actually now at last.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a terrible time there for me as well. I stayed about 9-10 months there. And
how did you react with them? Like, what was you and Austin like? What did you do together?
Austin was pretty sharpish as a kid. He had a bit more brain.
Yeah.
I was more like the lost little boy out of everything. Darren Reynolds was stronger as well.
Yeah.
You know, I had a little backative there, and you know, they used to call you, that place was deadly, Darren. They used to call you down in assembly, and if you misbehave at night, because like where I was the smallest as well, everybody used to get me to chuck things at the nightman and all that, and then run back to the bread and you know, set fire to the curtains and cause a scene. Like when you're the smallest, you get dared to do everything.
Yeah.
And Austin, Darren, they were there then going through their little things as kids as well.
What do you think now when you think of Austin and Reynolds? Because both of them's done something with their life.
Yeah.
He's gone on to do the karate.
Yeah, and
he's won stuff.
Yeah.
You've got Reynolds that's done the barbering and been good at it for years.
Yeah, that's it. The Reynolds.
Both the brothers have done good at the barbering.
But my Reynolds he's been giving talks in prisons and for years and whatnot. And you know, stronger. But Austin changed his life around. Yeah, magnificent. I saw things from him that.
So when you think that you're sitting here now, 37 years of your life has gone in a jail cell, and yet 37 years of his life have been productive.
Yeah.
What does that tell you when you think about it?
It tells me what a wasted journey I've been on. It tells me that, you know, for years everybody was telling me that I was capable of doing this and that and blah blah blah. You know that you can do certain things and you just don't want to let go of stuff. It seems normal to suffer and to be in pressure situations. You get so used to that landing thing. Yeah. You know, and all the mix-ups in there. You come out there here and, you know, it's not the same thing. Yeah. Not a lot of people want mix-ups in their life and care about who's the toughest on the landing and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But I take my hat off to anyone that come from that kind of background early on and changed it early.
Yeah.
You know, and went through stuff throughout the 80s, 90s and the millennium, and you know, a lot of deep rooted stuff in the criminal game.
Yeah.
And come out the other end.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
This is it.
It's hard to do.
So with regard to yourself, like when you was running round, you was obviously doing the stick ups.
Yeah.
When did you first start seeing guns and knowing that that gives you a bit more power on the road?
Yeah, I'm not that, I didn't get into guns until I got to the B-Cats.
Yeah.
Once I met people like, you know, once I started to meet people like Gary Nelson and other people along the way, they got nicked for armed robberies and shootings and whatnot. And then, you know, you had, when North Star come, when Lambie and all that, me and Suttie was pretty close and all that. But me and him used to really move from childhood kind of thing, and I used to bring him on moves with me, the burgling and that, before he turned out the way that he did. I started to realise that sometimes, you know, the burgling can take too long, and and when you're smoking and doing mad stuff, you want the things much quicker. Yeah. So having thought that, I got the ideas from being around certain people that if you get that and you've got the gun, you can get the money quicker. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to get into that a bit later down. I don't want to go too far ahead. Yeah. So let's get on to 85 now. You've come back on road from what I'm hearing. 85, and you've met your missus.
Nah, that's not 85.
Nah?
85, what do you mean, my baby mother?
Yeah.
No. I went to Aylesbury from 82 to 85 from the approved school. Yeah. I went straight to Aylesbury as a young boy. Yeah. And it was, Aylesbury was, you had to, and then obviously you learn to fight a bit and you learn to stick up for yourself, because Aylesbury, all the bad boys are in one pen together. Yeah.
And what was you seeing in there with people? Who was in there that was official?
It was a lot of them, couple of Brixton, man, like from the early days, before the Brixton riots started. Biscuit, you know, Michael Bailey. Yeah. You know, you had the Company Sound. How Dirty Harry was there. You know, there's a few big people in Aylesbury when I was a kid that, you know, that went on. But I learned that you had to. I learned then that you had to survive.
So was that your first connection, apart from obviously Austin's known for being a bit of Brixton? Yeah. But was that your first official connection with like Brixton man themselves?
Yeah, no, my first connection would have been through the approved schools.
Yeah.
Because Austin, I would have been around. There was more. I had that alliance with Brixton from really young. Yeah. I knew people that knew people.
Yeah. So when was it you started actually running around the streets of Brixton?
86, 85, 86. Yeah. As you said there. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
So 85. When you was running around them areas, then what was you seeing then? What was your connections becoming?
My connections back then, I was very much a lone, like, kind of soldier with my stealing. Yeah. Because I like to do things alone. And I used to think it was better to claim the glory on your own when you get all the things and all that, you know, it's you that got them. Yeah. But no, I lived over there by Canterbury Crescent by the police station, and the family to my kid's mother, the Duffers, Marcia, Diane, and my Granny Douglas, and all of them. I was going around them from early, and Kim and Bev, I was around them as well, and Naphtali and Stepan, them they was around them as well, and Austin, Andy and Bailey came around, will come before that as well. Yeah. Remember the Brixton people that I heard about when I was in school and growing up and blah blah. You Vincent Rat, Jimmy Bish, Fingers, the Curry family. Dennis Wilson, Patrick Bunting, that era there was a bit before me. And then you had the Preddies, Axeman and Fleago and all of them. I saw them as well around about that time as well, once I was around my baby mother. But
so all names that you give us, you officially do know them. You've had connection with them.
I've had connections, but I don't think it's too difficult to really remember me. But You know, I used to go plate a road on my own. And, and I used to be the lightest one in there. But I still used to knock on the door on my own and go and stand up in there because I like the music. And my role models are what what I've grown up with. And man used to say to me, Sammy, what are you doing in here, man? You can't come in there and play it nice. And I never used to listen. I used to go and stand up in there.
And from knowing who these people are,
but I didn't really. I can't say them old a lot that I know them. But I've been places and I saw you. Kind of thing. But you know, my age group, that era that comes down from that, you know, having gone to jail early as well. Because if you think about it, there's not many people that have done badness that haven't ended up in prison at some stage. Albeit in their young days, in their 20s, or once in their 30s, or whatever. And I submit that anybody that ever went to jail would have had to have a chance of meeting me at some stage from childhood. Some people I went to jail with at 16, 19, and you see them again 25 years later.
It's mad.
30 years later.
So from what you see of them and how you felt about them, what was it doing to your mind? Like, what was it telling you want next? What's the next stage of you from what you've seen with these?
Well, I didn't really, because, you know, it's not so much like the colour thing, but I think I was a bit confused because I always wanted to be black. When I was little. Because I didn't have, there was no one else white around me. You know, it was everybody else's mums. They used to say, Sammy, come and give me, give me some dumpling and some chicken and eat some food and, you know, and look after me really. So I had that little bit of love, even though I was lost in care. It was vital that, you know, those mums early on that put their arms around me, I felt so that mattered a lot, you know, because sometimes, you know, some of the authority figures, like with some of the paperwork I've shown you this morning, Darren, described me as a bit psychopathic. But, you know, I know that that's not true, you know, because I've had those assessments. But, I wanted to, it was the jewellery, the shoes, the clothes, the mannerisms, all that kind of stuff. And you're looking, you know, the first time I ever saw Rankin Dread, I couldn't believe it. You know, this geezer's name was being called everywhere, from prison, from young, and he was a singer, and he robbed everyone too, and he could do voodoo, he could do everything. And one night I think I was out at the Saxon Sound or something, but it was over Peckham, and there used to be this geezer called Lloyd, I forgot his surname, let's call him Musclehead. Anyway, and he was playing, and I'm Rankin Dread coming in. I was so squashed up in the corner because I was so little. And someone said, yes, Sammy said, look, that's Rankin Dread. And I wanted to see this geezer, and he took the whole floor, Darren. He had about 45 chains on, and he was doing the Fatty Boom Skank. And the way that he done it, I was looking at him, I was thinking, I said, I saw you. You know, like, I saw you, and he looked so bad and so wicked, and, you know, you think you're frightening, you know what I mean? You're thinking, is that the one they're all talking about? You know, you've got everybody's gold on that you robbed from, and you're standing up there in front of everyone and no one can't tell you nothing. I thought, bloody hell, you've got to be the greatest, isn't you? You know?
Okay, so that ever there, you've met your missus in the 85 onwards era.
At a probation course, Darren. I got, after Aylesbury, doing them early years in Aylesbury, I got a squeeze when I came out. They gave me my first squeeze, which was a probation course up in South London. And I was there, and there was a couple of Brixton men there as well, Fiddler, you know, a couple other men as well, Everton. And they was in there, and my baby mother was there. She was the only girl there, and we went on a camping trip. And I was saying to them, I was a sweet boy then, with all my chains hidden behind my shirt, and you know, their man there, you know, I did little connections over Brixton, but they were looking out for me. I was saying to them, I want to. Well, we reckon I could. And they would warning me, saying, no, not her, Sammy. Nah, she's too much for you. And I remember I went up, I sneaked up into the bedroom, you know, inquisitive. I'm not scared. I'm getting up there. What? I've only ever been with one girl in my life. My puberty's just starting. I was 19, and I went and sat in the room, but I was quiet like a mouse. I was sitting there with thinking what to say next and how. And then she just looked at me and she said, "What happened, Sammy?" I said, yeah, cool. And she went, "What? You can't throw your corn." And I thought, she chat. I thought, is that how they do it down in Brixton and Guildford? They don't do that down in West. What, can you throw your corn, you know? I said, all right then. And I said, yeah, I'll give it a go. I don't know if I won or not. But it seemed alright to me. When I went back down to the bedroom, that fiddler was saying to me, "Nah, man, you should know it's not that. It's different girls." Yeah, that's how it started anyway. But yeah, I did love my baby mother at first. She's a street girl, road girl, you know, teeth and everything.
Yeah.
You know, for what it was, yeah, she was on stuff. And it combined with mine as well, so we was a joint team. I'll give her all the jewellery, she got me all the clothes.
Yeah.
You know, it was that kind of package, and that time their People's Club was running.
Yeah.
About that after Aylesbury, and I'll always remember they had a man called I went People's Club. So this is after Aylesbury. I said, I'm bad now. I've done Aylesbury. And I had the Ducket and the Cougar, and I said, this night I'm going to People's Club and I'm wearing my top. I don't care who's there. And I'll never forget it. I was walking down the stairs, and it was Tim Westwood night on a Thursday night. Like when the soul things first come down. But my hair was jerry curled then, because I got the curly perm.
Yeah.
The skin looked kind of dark, so I looked like a foreigner anyway, but I looked too sweet, man. I walked down there with the chains like the stairs, but you know, you're going down each step's heavy because the crowd, there's someone behind you, someone in front of you. And then I had the chain out, I was trying to push out my chest kind of thing. And when I got down to the stairs, a man used to be on the door called Subtle. And there was another man there, what was his name? Not Iron Dread, not Dennis Brown, not Rankin Dread, it was another robber. I forgot his name, but you know, you'd have heard his name. He used to be on the door with Subtle, but he used to stand up. Somebody would be able to tell you who it was. And when I got down there, he went like that. He grabbed my coins and looked at me, right, all his eyes were bloodshot, you know, them old cold looking, dark looking Brixton man like that. And he's looking, and I was looking right in his eyes like that. And he went like that to me. Oh, yeah, nice cheer and that. And I said to him, yeah. I was just looking at him, but really I was scared, but I was looking at him like I wasn't. You know, and he let it go and he just let it run, and I went inside there. I said, I'm never doing that again, boy. You know that. And I went inside there, I stayed, and that was that time there. And after that I started to think I was bad, kind of thing. Yeah.
From when you're telling me that story, you sound like it was a good period. You sounded happy.
Yeah, it was happy because I was identified myself as being a Raffles and the Pink Panther, a great thief, and I had that identity that, you know, whenever I touch stuff, it often turns to great amounts. But you know, I was more interested in what I get and showing people what I get rather than how much I could get and what I was going to do with the money. So it was a time of. Yeah, it was a time of, you know, about 6-7 months out, probably the longest I've ever been out then, about 86. And I was out there every day, and I was keeping up my badness, and you know, and you know.
Let's talk on the woman side of it. Like, you've got a woman now.
Yeah.
You should have been on some stability.
Yeah, I did that.
But again, you're back in jail.
Yeah.
89, you're back in jail.
Yeah.
How's this happening? Like, what, even a woman's stability couldn't make you think, you know what, I want to be out here for longer?
No, because 86, that didn't last. It took me from 86 January to about July 1986, and then I got nicked over Balcombe Street where that siege was, and 3 penthouses all in one, and obviously I got another 3 for that, but I ended up rubbing all that, Darren.
Yeah.
From 86 to 89.
Yeah, that's it.
So then I came out in 89, and was out about 5 weeks, and I hit the jackpot over Hampstead Heath, around the back of there, and I got I was getting the early style Rolexes from, you know, from rich pickings, if you like, from that side of town. And I was only out a few weeks. My friend died, Ronnie Regis, who I was moving with, and I ended up in jail, and it was a sad time for me, and I ended up with another 3 or 4. Yeah.
So at them times in your life, do you think there was anything that would make you stay on road?
No, because I'm too fast. I like action, and I want to keep doing what I'm doing, even not taking a break. And the more you do stuff, the more that, you know, you're going to get caught.
Yeah.
You know, no one can go out there every day thinking, especially them high risk moves like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's much harder now, but you know, it still gets done. But I ended up in Wandsworth in 89, and things were kind of going a bit funny with my son's mother at that time. I had another girl at that time who was visiting me for a little while.
Yeah.
And then I was in Wandsworth in 1989, and I got another 3 or 4, and yeah, that was that was a sentence. I got the Queen's pardon.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But before we do, what do you think about the situation with your baby mother? Do you think that was your fault, or do you think it was her fault that it ended up like that, due to the fact that you're never about?
No, I've got to take responsibility that I wasn't there for my son, and it was really dysfunctional. My relationship skills were very, very poor, very childish.
Yeah.
You kind of, I don't know enough. Any little thing makes me go charging out the door, and she was dysfunctional as well, and she had a sad upbringing as well. It was very volatile and whatnot. No, it wasn't. I can't say that. Yeah, but I would say that again. It was my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go forward then, and let's talk about the Queen's pardon.
Oh yeah.
The word that I've got is that you got that from stopping a woman from being raped.
Yeah.
So just how exactly did that go down?
What happened was, obviously, I still had access to my son, who was being born then, and she would still come up and bring him to see me. So in the old days, they used to put little slips under your door and say, "Oh, you're going to this prison in the morning." And, before you've got a chance to say anything, really, the van's there.
Yeah.
Now they come with a slip and said, "You're going Camp Hill." There's no way that I wanted to go to Camp Hill. So what I did, in Wandsworth, you go on the exercise them days, and everybody had blue uniform on. And when you come back off the yard, it's hard to not get banged up. They like banging you up in the old days, and everybody has to be behind their door. But I'm thinking, Camp Hill tomorrow, I ain't going. So what have I got to do? I've got to go and see the probation and tell them the reasons why I can't go is because I won't have access to seeing my son because it's too far. So what I did, when we came off exercise, the toilets used to be on the wings, and I went to hide in there. I put my feet on the seat and bent down while everyone else was getting banged up.
Yeah.
So when it all went quiet, I'd run upstairs to the probation office room, and when I ran up there was a queue outside the door, but the queue was that way and the door was that way, so it was like one at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
So eventually, when it was all quiet and everything, I pushed to the front of the queue.
Yeah.
And without asking anybody anything, I opened the door. And then I opened the door, and what I saw, I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
There was a geezer on top of the probation officer, with his hand around her throat and just bringing her down to the floor.
Ooh.
So I opened the door at that time, and I'm thinking, what's going on there? And the natural reaction, women, whatnot, and everything. Yeah. I went straight over, but obviously I was smaller then, and the geezer was big. But we started struggling. The lady ran out, and me and him ended up wrestling to the floor, and all the officers come in a big incident. About 200, the bell went.
Yeah.
All the bully ones from back in the day in Wandsworth, when it was really serious, when you used to get a proper riding for talking back and all that different thing back then, Darren. And they're pulling him off, and then they wrapped him up, and then they started wrapping me up, and I was saying, no, it's not that. Like, give me a little, it's not that. But I didn't want to. But she looked like she was in shock. I was trying to get her attention, and just as they put me in the hold, an officer called Mr. Baker, right? He used to come in and strip search people on his own. He did. Yeah. Yeah, one of the baddest screws I ever met. Yeah. And he come and he said, take your hand off him and blah blah blah, and then he brought me upstairs. He goes, well, what's happening? I said, I'd like to say, what happened and whatever. He goes, oh, you're my hero, I want you on your hot plate and blah 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 and all that kind of thing. And then they called me downstairs and said, I said, listen, I'm not going to, don't involve me in any court case or anything. Yeah. But the damage was done, Darren. Everybody they started slagging me off, saying that I was wrong and that I saved their life and whatever. But I never got him any extra burden. I never went. And at the end of the day, I'm not made that way. Yeah. I'm not going to stand there. Even if it's not a woman, if you look troubled, I'll do my best to try and help. Yeah. Yeah.
So let us know, what does a Queen's pardon do? Like regards older sentences, do you get pardoned on everything?
No, the heroic acts.
Yeah.
And people that in the line of duty or whatever. The Queen's pardon is actually called a royal warrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many of those. It's hard to get those, but the governor has to write to the Home Office to say that he's asking for it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? And then obviously they never give me no parole on that sentence. Same way as it's always been with me. And then about a week after I got the knockback, 2 geezers come in with a suit with a certificate. Obviously I gave it to my mum. She was chuffed. And they give me 200 and odd days back off my earliest date of release.
Yeah.
Said, look, this is your award. I mean, I took the piss after that. Sorry, excuse the language. I took the mick after that, Darren. I started getting nicked for a whole heap of things because them days the governor, if he could take like a month off you, remission. But if you're going to lose more, you go to the board of visitors, like a magistrate's. But it's not like that now. You have to go outside adjudicator. But I used to go in front of the board of visitors, and they said, "Oh, we're not taking those days off you because we don't want to interrupt the Queen's pardon." Yeah. So I used that for a bit in my favour, but I got released from that sentence quite early, and I came out in 1990, and I was out a month and got nicked over Knightsbridge.
So Queen's pardon never meant nothing to you?
Never meant nothing to me. Wow.
And what went on down there when you got nicked for that case?
I got another. That took me to 92 again.
Yeah.
Again, and then I started smoking, and then I got the Yammy name.
Yeah.
During that bit, about 91, when them hardcore Brixton man, Colonel Boogie, from way back in the day, Boomy, Bunting, Lammy, obviously Duffers. One of the Duffers went jail at that time as well. But there's many other men, Penny, Arthur Penny, Penny, and them man there, and his sisters, they're related to mine, as they know mine as well.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah. They was all there. And I think Austin and Bailey, and they touched jail around. I think a bit earlier before that, I never went back.
What was you like with all them characters? Like, what was you like in there with them?
Once I started, because obviously a lot of them man, they were shot in the food.
Yeah.
As well, and had it. And then when I first started, I started in Wayland, I think, in 91. A man did die there in front of me over yeast, as it goes. Victor Osborne. Yeah, he got stabbed right in front of me over some yeast thing. But that's when they used to nickname me the Interceptor, because you used to be able to stand out. It was like a front line in Wayland them days, where everybody was out, like the market front line. You have to walk past it. And then I learnt all my skills.
Yeah.
From them kind of things, of who's got it, how to get it, what am I going to do to get it, how can I con him, how can I do that, how can I pull one ear, and what if it goes wrong, what am I going to do next, and it all developed from there, really. But the drugs didn't come because I've done too much bird, man. That's what it was. I've done too much time, Darren, so I never smoked weed or nothing as a kid.
Yeah, it's just something to get through.
Something to, and a couple of them other man that I was looking up to were doing it, that kind of thing as well. Yeah.
So let's get to 1994 now. You're on road. You go straight back in.
92. I came out, and I got nicked for. That's when I first started. That was my first spell of like hard drugs on road. That was only for about 7 weeks though.
Yeah.
And I used to hold the door, the crack house door down in Ladbroke Grove. With Marcia, the king of she had a baby father called Tapazuki, and I always used to toast that song to her because obviously she's had kids for him, and I was the nutty dreader where she wanted when I was to be at the front door security.
Yeah.
I tried that little bit there as a foreigner, it was really funny, and I used to manhandle certain men even though I was smoking. I have to just rough them up at the door and she give me a cup, all that kind of thing. And it's a different new way of life for me. Yeah. Like the girls on the game and that kind of stuff, and it was kind of sad when I look back. Not a lot of people are alive now from them days. Yeah. But I used to do that. She used to ask me to come on her meets for over some lovely. She always asked for me. I had the ponytail then as well. Yeah. Yeah, she used to my chest was quite big. I used to go down, she said, "Oh, come with me, Yammy, down there." I said, yeah, sister love, I'm coming. Yeah. But it was alright, that was a little funny, but it was a downside for me as well. I didn't last long, again, a few weeks. And then I was away from 92. I was on the island then. And that's when the robbing really, I used to wait outside the visits hall for people and pat them down as they come out. And I was terrible, Darren. I was terrible. In them early bits, throughout the 90s, when the food started, And a lot of it was from them South London man as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of them, some real hardcore. Like you got smokers and you got smokers, because it's not every smoker that you think that you can, who's kind of weak and vulnerable. That you got them old dogs that they don't business about nothing. They can have a fight and they want to take your things and they're plotting on you to get your things. You know, like that. It was a different kind of era for smokers them days there.
Yeah.
You know, them man, they would go out of their way and not just rob like any old weak man. They would rob some proper man as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So didn't you go in at 92,
92
come out at 94 and then go right back in for 6 years?
Yeah. 94, I was with 94, I got, that's it, funny enough, 94, I got nicked for a string of, that was when I started doing the robbing. I got nicked for about 20 robberies, and funny enough, £1 million drum, which was near the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I got tiara and all that, but I wasted all that money. And then I went on a mad one, a 2-week run of just sticking everybody up basically and jumping over counters late at night. You know, but
what did you waste that on though? Where did all that money go? From a big thing like that, it's just gone.
Yeah, I used to sit in a room by myself and just smoke.
Yeah.
And get all the demons, hear all the voices.
Yeah.
And I see the door handle moving, and you know, them time there I had the gun though, so it was a lot more safer then.
Yeah.
For me when I used to walk with that. To be honest, Darren, with the paranoia and everything. But 94, I ended up in Scrubs. I remember I must have robbed the majority of the wing in Scrubs. I was taking people's chains in there, and I ended up in good order and discipline down the block in Scrubs, and Gary Nelson was down there then as a double A cat waiting to go up on lots of cases. And I remember one time when I see Gary the first kind of time in prison. During that time there, I remember they were coming in and kind of give me the bully boy tactics in Scrubs. They used to go on like that when you think you're bad, and they used to come in and surround me. And then one day they gave me my bread roll, and I remember like I was sitting there, I was going no, and Gary was shouting, "Didn't they give you a bread roll?" I said, "No, Gary." I was like, "They're giving all the nonsense upstairs, but they're not giving me nothing." And I goes, "But it's cool anyway. It's nothing. It's only a bread roll." And about 5 minutes later, Gary come out for his dinner, and he said to him, "Yeah, open that door. Have you got a bread roll for Yammy?" And they said, "No, there ain't none." And Gary said, "No, you can't do that. Give him my bread roll." I went to open that door and I went to give him my bread roll, and they said, "Gary, now look." And I remember about 8, 9 of them surrounded him, and I was looking through the spot going, what's going on here? They're going to jump on him. And he had his nightgown on and his slippers with all his tom on, and I was looking at him and I was thinking, what's going to happen here? And he called it on. He said, "What are you all going to do? You all going to gangbang me?" And I was witnessing this, and I was thinking, I ain't seen none of this before. Normally they just jump on people. And they never did nothing. They opened the door and gave me the bread roll. I said, yeah. Nice girl. And that was the first time I witnessed certain things ago. I seen him fight with the screws, obviously, and get the belt.
Yeah.
And even when they got him down, he's still not. You can't. He's in moves that they can't get the rest of him, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
He was good at that. Yeah, but that was the first sign that I could see. Like with Gary strikes me out as a character along those years who I looked at and liked, obviously, and loved at some stages. That I saw like something in him that I wished that could have been me too. You got to be real. As much as I had my own thing going, that BADMAN thing started to appeal to me a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, because you're seeing that firsthand, and you're thinking, I remember trying what he did, like years later. I called it on with them all. They all jumped on me. I tried that same thing. Who do you think you're all talking to? What do you want to have it? Well, let's have it. It didn't work for me.
No.
You know what I mean? They all jumped on me, mate. Well,
yeah. So let's go forward now. You done the 6. Yeah.
And that was a bird as well. I've done all the B cats then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ended up. I've done all the B cats then.
Yeah.
And I was on the robbing thing hard. The B swell side. I got stabbed over a couple of men there. I still got the holes there. I remember one of my friends called H. He was from Junction, but hardcore robber, and that. And he was there, he caught up and he done something, but I come down for him, but I didn't have no weapon. And everything was like a right hand or a left hand, and we thought we could. And the whole wing, they rushed in, but I got in the way, and I picked up a few stabs, and I went to hospital, tied myself up, and come back. and that, yeah. And then I went Preston, and I remember I robbed some people up there, and I went out. They let me out on the yard. There's no Cockneys there, and I went out the next day out of my nut on the yard, and the whole yard rushed me.
Yeah.
The Normaners, yeah. I had to play dead, Darren. I only had a fat lip and a black eye, but I was lying there like that thinking, and obviously I still had the food and all that. I ended up down the block and I got shipped out.
Yeah.
But I never really got severely hurt. But, you know, I used to pull out little moves here and there, you know, when I was on that stuff.
Yeah.
That was anything was anything, because I just wanted that. So my days revolved around, if I don't get that, I'm not really that happy.
Yeah, that's it,
know?
yeah.
Well, you know, it's a sad state of affairs, but, you know, you've got to be honest.
Yeah. So you've come out 2000, again, not even 3 months, and you're right back in.
Yeah. It was
now you're in the ACATs, if I'm right.
Yeah. From 2000 to 2009.
Yeah. So you let me know, for 9 years in an ACAT prisons.
Yeah.
What exactly does ACAT mean for them that don't know?
ACATs are, you've got all different. You've got ACAT, double ACAT, which seriously is just high risk.
Yeah.
So their security on them is really tight, and they're monitored more than, you know, than I was a BCAT in an ACAT prison. But the category A is like, you know, Belmarsh, Whitemore, Long Lartin, Franklin, Full Sutton. You know, a lot of them are on the book.
Yeah.
So you can't move to a BCAT unless you come off that book.
Yeah.
Because to be on the book, it's not just the prison alone. It's other further higher up authority figures. They have a say to thing. And then obviously I'd already done the Bs to the level that I did. And you remember I got the other charge on the Isle of Wight as well, where I threw a bucket of fat over somebody, and I ended up in the Isle of Wight. Crown Court got off in the end. That was in the 90s.
What happened to them when you threw that over?
I done it. I was hungry. A man gave me a couple of grams, and I said, all right, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because you know, you get to the stage where you say, yeah, I'm going to do it, and you're thinking the day comes now where you got to do it.
Yeah.
Because you got to do what you said, you know. And then I threw it. But I kind of regret that one. But yeah, and then I ended up in the Cat A's. I got the 12, 13 years. 2000 all the way through, and I did all of that by 9 months.
Before we talk on what went down in there, what was the injuries to the man with the fat over him? Because we need to let the youths know things are going on in these prisons that they don't want to be built for. What did his injuries, what did he occur from that?
He peeled before my very eyes.
So for the rest of his life, he's walking around with that.
He's walking around with that,
And how do you feel in yourself now?
Well, considering I only got a couple of grams for it, and you know that I've done something a serious magnitude, it makes you, you know, you don't sleep easy at night. That's just one of millions of things that I can think back on it. Somebody might have the ump with me, but you know, Darren, you got to live with that kind of stuff. But I would ask for forgiveness there.
But there's a difference, isn't there? Like, you might have robbed someone, you might have done other things. They can get over that more than looking in the mirror every day and seeing that your face ain't the same. What would you say to someone like that if you had the chance?
What,
afterwards, like when you've really thought about what went down?
I would have said that. I would have asked for forgiveness and tried to say sorry. And is there anything you want me to do in return? Which I've done with a few of the robbing things that I regretted as well. Like in the early days, like them man they I saw again, because only small kind of things, but it's your pride, and you know some people carry feeling about certain small things. You know, they don't like it when people don't pay them, and they get funny if you're jailing them for a couple of their bags and you're holding them to ransom. If you don't give me, then I'm not going to talk to you no more. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult for people too, because the way they see themselves. But you know, the Cat A's is the living mixer.
Let's get into that. Like, from what my understanding is, obviously you know well, so you can clean it up. Most Cat A's are dispersals, is that right? So you tell us, what does dispersal mean? What does that mean in the prison system?
That means that your dispersals, like lock-up security, and that you're dispersed around that kind of they call it the high security estate, which is, you know, where you go round and round and round. And if you're misbehaving, you know, you don't come down in category, you don't get good moves, you stay and whatnot. But Yes, it's very serious places.
So I'll ask you, in regards prisoners, do you see a lot more vicious people in the ACAT than any other kind of prisons?
Yes, because it's all over the place now. Not just in the Cat A's, it's in the C's, and these young ones are running riot everywhere. But the Cat A's is much more serious because you've got to have the mental strength as well, because you're there long term, and you're not going to be able to hide from many people because you're still going to see them other places as time goes on. But it's your mental strength rather than, because depending on what you're in there for, which will probably be a bit more serious, you'll go to those places and you are likely to have done something to somebody outside that somebody knows from inside, even if they don't know you. Yeah. Because it's a close-knit, you don't get away scot-free. Just because you don't know certain people, your crimes get uncovered. Yeah. And there's a lot of hurt people when people have died around different families and all that.
So with regards like an ACAT, a lot of the time it's going to be a man who's a gunman or a man who's a murderer or something like that. Yeah. So if you was to say something now to little youths that are running around blocks with a gun, popping it in the air, thinking they're built for what you've seen in 37 years.
No.
Tell them what an ACAT's going to give them once they get in there.
Yeah. What they've got to be prepared for, because I would strongly advise not to commit crime, and very serious crime, because my opinion is that you build up a reputation outside. You're doing your stuff out here for a few months, a year, your name's ringing, because everybody always says, oh, don't let no one know, don't let no one know. But then if nobody don't know, they don't know that you're a bad man. And if they don't know that you're a bad man, then they're not going to be scared of you. So that was the whole point of everything, really. So your name is out there in bright lights. You might think you didn't get caught while you were doing it, but at the same time, when you go to the CATs, when you've got your 25 and 30, you're going to need more than just your gun hand or your knife hand, because the pressure there every day, you're going to need character. You're going to have strategic skills for your plotting and planning. It is energy, time wasting. It goes on for years and years and years. And if you're not going to be able to handle the other part to your glory days outside, you know, the other bit is in there, because you've got to be able to do that as well to a high level, because none of us like being violated or losing a fight or, you know, getting gang banged and whatever, but there's more to come. And my strong advice is, if you haven't got the full array of skills, and if you're not up for those 20 or 30 years away from, you know, you in the end you read all the things that I didn't crave for, family, love, and all those kind of things, and peace of mind and peace of heart, which I have now. You've got to come out of it. You've got to come out of it, because it gets very serious. There's a lot of men in there wishing and dreaming that they never did what they really did, you know. And you've got to lie there, and I know what it feels like lying there, and I've looked at them firsthand. And you know, everybody puts on a brave face and they come out with their energy in the morning. Yeah, everything cool, because those are the guys that are built for it. And you don't meet many that are, and they're up for it every single day, because they know what it was to begin with, and they know what it is once you get there. Yeah. You know, some people can walk around with the pressure every day and handle it. I met many high-rank prisoners, long-termers who could handle, who had a bit of everything. Yeah. But not all. Yeah. But you know, there's a lot of characteristics that you need to survive in those places. You can't just come on your own and say, I'm a bad man, that I can do this and do that. It doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. Sometimes it's team play as well. There's a lot of, you know, I'm with him and him and him and him, and you can hide behind people. You can, you know, there's many ways to do it, Darren, to survive. Yeah. But in the Cat A's, you'll get found out.
Yeah. So before we get into what you've seen in there, I'll ask you, let us know what Cat A's you've been in.
I was in Whitemore for 5 years. I was in Long Larton for 3 years. I was in Durham. Oh no, Durham's not a Cat A. That was the B from. I've been in Strangeways. I've been in Durham. I've been in Armley, but they're locals. Yeah. B's. Yeah. I missed the boat on the other couple of two. And Parkhurst and Albany in the early days was the Cat A dispersal. Yeah. As well. I went to them pretty early, as well. Yeah.
Okay. So before we get into the prisoners you've reacted with and the names, what I want to know is, what was the worst prison itself for the way you're dealt with by the screws and by the state of the prison? What's the worst prison you ever stayed in?
The worst prison I ever stayed in was Long Lartin.
And what made that the worst?
Because there was blind spots. You could get away with stuff in there, but the screws, the brutality down the block, and the stitching up of people and throwing them down the block for things they haven't done. Like once I remember I joined because I've always been a believer in God anyway.
Yeah.
I went to Long Lartin and I converted to Islam, and I didn't really know much about it.
Yeah.
But I was there, and because I'm a God-fearing man anyway, to a certain degree, more now. I went in and joined the screws were plotting against me at that time.
Yeah.
A lot of people were converting as well, but I was one of the first from when it came to the Cates, and obviously I joined forces and started, helping the brothers do stuff, and obviously the screws got the ump and started spreading rumours about me, which they've always done. But where's the facts now?
Yeah.
I started helping out, and one day someone came into my cell. They got a big bucket of fat, threw it over a geezer, and they come for me, and it wasn't even me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was down the block like 2 months or something. I never even did.
So they tried to set you for doing that to him when it wasn't even you.
Someone had told them, and there was another time where a man ran to the office. He got stabbed in his head, and all the blood was squirting over me. But I passed him, and they blamed me for that as well. But that wasn't me.
Nah. So they was definitely on you.
No, I dropped one time. I dropped a weight for the shake on someone in the gym.
Yeah.
While he was benching, but then you get blamed for other stuff as well. But that's not all of it. I never done some of those things.
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay, let's get into the fact. If you said a comment earlier, I want to make it clear, because there's a lot of young guys that will hear stories from people, and they'll be telling them they was hard as nails in jail.
Yeah.
No one can't do them nothing. It was easy.
Yeah.
You were saying about no one don't want to get gangbanged.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a grown man get fucked in jail, or known of it happening, so that people know these things can happen to them?
Nah, it's a daily thing, Darren.
It is. So you see a big man getting tear apart.
You get teared apart. If you ain't got no backup, it's going to be even more stickier for you. I had a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're bad in your own right, but there's better man. Obviously. Yeah. Much better man for me. In them ways there, and then you got help.
Yeah.
Some people ain't got that help.
Yeah.
I think they can manage on their own, or they ain't fought it through properly. You're going to get hurt really severely.
And what does it do to that man? What was he like after you know that he's been terrorised like that?
Well, you either sink with it. Like, I knew a man who'd never been knocked out before.
Yeah.
And the day he kept telling everyone, no, I can't get knocked out, I can't. And one day, years later, I saw him, he got knocked out. And I was down the block with him, and I said to him, Richie, I told you. He goes, that wasn't a punch. He hit me with a metal tray. I said, no, because he still can't believe a man could punch that hard.
Yeah.
Because he's a big geezer.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, what was the question again? The first question?
About someone being raped.
No, it's regular.
Yeah,
much regular. It's every day. It's every single day.
Yeah, and you don't need to expose no one on this, because this is a madness. But did you see anyone who was official get something like that happen to them? Someone who swore they was bad?
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's happened, yeah.
It's happened, but they defended it. Some defended it, but some didn't even turn up though. So you get worried sometimes, because you were doing your stuff.
Yeah.
And on certain big days in there, a man's waiting for you outside. He's only got the razors.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go out there.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, you got to go out there. You got to face the music. Sure, you're not worried about getting cut. You know what I mean? You got to in that game. You've got to be prepared to take a few.
Yeah.
You can't just go through life thinking that you're the only one doing the harm.
Yeah.
You're going to have to accept some kind of. And a lot of men, when they're beaten or or chopped to smithereens, they find it hard to come back.
Yeah.
And some do. Some accept it and move on and know that next time I catch you,
it's on.
It's on.
Yeah.
And they live with that for years till they get their chance, and when it comes, they're ready.
Yeah.
But then others live with that for years, and then when it comes again,
it gets it again.
You get it again. You don't feel like it on the day, and as bad as you are, I already know you don't feel the same way every day.
Yeah.
And it's been sad for certain people in there, but you've got to accept that you had to pick up a few as well.
Yeah.
And it never went your way, and it can't always go your way. It never always went my way. I had a bit of luck along the way with a lot of things, but but if you ask me what happened, I'll tell you the truth.
Okay, well, you saying that, let's get on to the next thing. You've done the circuit, that's guaranteed.
Right.
You've been in there in the worst prisons. So I'm going to ask you, of all the people you've ever met, because in all areas there's a bad man.
Yeah.
And when they go jail, out here someone believes they're the baddest man there is. Yeah. They come out, they're back on their block, they're back in their area, they're about that life.
Yeah.
Who is the baddest man you've ever stood in front of?
I've got to think about it. Well, I don't have to think about it, but in my opinion, throughout everything, because you remember it's different eras. There was people when I was in the caddies, they were in their 20s, I was already in my 30s, and I'd already seen stuff from the 80s, the 90s, the millennium, and going all the way through.
Yeah.
But with my top 5, it would be very difficult to change the rep because of the roles and their characters and whatever. But if you want it, I'm not involved in the life of crime no more, it hardly matters to me, but for the way that I thought about these people, their characteristics and ridges, and their behaviour, and for all skills, for everything, not just the brawn and the brawn, the money, the likability factor. Some could have a row. There's many people that could have a row better than that geezer that I think, or that 5 that I think, or whatever, but they haven't got the likability factor, they haven't got the money, they haven't got the other stuff that goes with it. You're just a hard man, and that's who you are. Now, characteristic wise, if I'm talking about the greatest of all time, if we talk that talk there, if you're talking that talk there, I have to base that on what I saw, what I heard, and all characteristics. Because some are just bad and they love you because they fear you, but that love and fear is not the same thing. Because they're frightened of you, so they play like they love you, but it's because of what you might do to them and the power you hold. But for me to be genuinely loved, if you couldn't do all those things, is a different matter. But for me, the greatest of all time for all eras, right? And there'll be mixed, divided opinion on this, and whatever they'll say what they want. But I'll from what I've seen, and I've met everybody that was anybody mostly to ever have been met in a prison thing, whites, blacks, Turks, Arabs, whatever way you want to call it. And me, I would have to give that award to Gary Nelson. I would have to, and he's not. I'm not in touch with him or anything. He doesn't. I don't know if he think it doesn't really matter, because you've got to be honest. And I would put Calder Dread from East London, and the reason why I put Gary up there, he never bullied nobody, right? He doesn't victimise people. He doesn't use what he's got, to make people cry and feel bad about themselves. He's a protector. He helps the vulnerable, the needy, that kind of stuff. With his he could do the brawl and the mind games and all the rest of it, because you have to. You have to, but with weapons, with the screws, what I saw, and inmates when people are drawing out on him and he ain't got nothing, he's still going through. I've seen it many, many times. And the brain and the intelligence, very, very intelligent. Very, very intelligent, but really likeable too. On the other aspects as well. But you got to look at Calder Dread, very, very serious, right? Great thinker, funny as well, but very the Roger Vincent I have to call. As another one who never really spoke. He doesn't preach violence and that, but so serious. Lovely, lovely man. Stitched him up as well, like they did to Gary. But anyway, forget all that. There's people that haven't been to jail that I would call. That I've seen enough from over the years, that were really creepy and crawly and slippery and had all the rays, and a lot of things have happened around them, and things that I saw with my own eyes. I would have to say Austin as well. I'd have to put him up there. High. because he has been in the mix since the 80s.
Yeah.
And he's had to miss things, and he's missed the boat on a few things,
Yeah.
turned his life around, and still managed to balance the books and all that, Austin. And he's been involved in a lot of serious stuff.
Yeah.
And he faced it head on. And now I have to think about Suttie, who's dead, from Mozart, originally, who was originally around North Star to start with Plan B, who set the trend in the 90s.
Yeah.
For the robbing and firing 2-shot, and rest in peace, Suttie, because you know that I loved you, and you was true. And I put them 5 or 6. You know, you got to look at all their characteristics. Funny as well, likable. You like being in their company. It gives you that energy when you go through.
Yeah.
For the other age groups, you have to be talking more. You know, the 30s and the 20s. You'd have to be talking more Quincy. I don't know if you know. Oh yeah, you don't. Yeah, Quincy for that age group. When he came to the Cates, Quincy was for that age group there, because Quincy was the most thuggish in my eyes.
Yeah.
So Quincy was more aggressive. All that, you know, he'd be taking on all comers.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So you got to respect that. Win, lose or draw, he's turning up.
Yeah.
You know, some of them other men there that come to jail and for big things, and they get violated regularly in jail, and it makes me laugh. Because, you know, all right, something you can't have a row, you weren't strong or whatever, and you know, you smoked all you got. And it's difficult when people see that those things happen to you.
Yeah.
You know, but staying on that age group thing with Quincy, for that age group there, around about that time, from the 2000 mark, late 90s, early on that, for the going into the Cates, because you had a lot of bad little youths for that age there. You had Leon Smith, you had Quincy,
Yeah.
you had Warren Leader. Lambie was more about my age, and that North Star was already coming. But you remember the Raiders and 28s was already around for that time there from thing. But in the Cat age, you get found out because it is the biggest stage of all, where all the bad minds are together, and you've got to be not just a brawler.
Yeah.
You've got to be outthink people as well.
Yeah.
Because as much as, you know, I like to say, yeah, I did this and did that, I didn't do as much as I didn't need to do as much as I like to make out, if you get what I mean, Darren.
Yeah.
Very selected things, like apart from the robbing in the early days, of course. But, you know, you've got to be able to pull this one in and that one in and this. You have to keep everything going. It's like a film and a stage play.
Yeah.
Because everybody's always thinking, I wonder what he's thinking. I wonder what he's feeling. Because when you've got a lot of time on your own to think and feel, you can come up, if your head ain't right, you can come up with the wrong things.
Yeah.
And some people make a move sometimes and it ain't even really that. You know, and some people wait too long for it to happen, and you haven't done all the planning and plotting. But
okay,
for that age group there, more than likely. But there was others, there was Mafia. There was a few little young ones that was doing their stuff, like in the early days.
Okay, let's get on to Quincy. Obviously, we've seen you in the real life.
Oh yeah, I did.
So we know you and him are nice.
Yeah, kind of nice. I don't know
So you said in there he was official. No one ain't playing no games with him. What was you and him like in there when you was together in there?
Nah, me and Quincy was when he was a youth. It was me and Quincy.
Yeah. What did you see from him in there?
I liked him because he was kind of straight and true. When people were bullshitting around him, he would step in and say, "That's lies, man. Don't tell the truth." Yeah. And I was very like that, Quincy. And he's real. If he's in the end, when he won't leave you. I remember one time I was in the toilet. I was in education, right? Me and him was standing. It's funny, you know. It's nothing much. And we was in the queue. Me and Quincy were talking really fast. We was at the front of the queue waiting to go back on the wing in Whitemore. And some tall geezer from out of nowhere come and just slapped my hand and goes, "Who are you?" Like that. Quincy looked at me like, said, "Do you know him?" I said, "Nah." I looked at the geezer, I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, so what are you saying then?" Like, it was a complete nutter. And I said to him, because everyone's there now, I was kind of sulking. I was going, all right, in the recess. You know, it was like I was walking like to death row. I was thinking, what have I done here? I don't even know him. And then Quincy come to the window. He goes, "You want me to come in?" I said, "Nah, don't need no one." And I went in there, done a quick dummy like I was going to move. He swung his hand underneath him, picked him up, put him on my shoulder, and then threw him up in the air and stamped on him. And then it's true. And they pressed the bell. I walked out the toilet, went and sat by Quincy. A few other people was there. Porky, I think Porky was there then. Carl Dennis, another strong one. And Courtney Needham, another tough one. Very underrated. Bucky. I used to love Yammy.
Yeah.
No, Bucky. Yeah, Tony Powell. Anyway, I've got him. I'm sitting in the room now. All the screws are running in there. Goes right, you out. So I was down the block. I'm really like down because I didn't really do nothing. And Quincy looks at me and goes, "You didn't even want to do nothing, did you?" I said, "Nah, I wasn't in the mood," and I still had to go in there and do. And Quincy wrote a statement for me.
Yeah.
To the governor, I wrote a statement. Said, "No, I was a witness." Like blah 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 blah. I said, Quincy's real.
Yeah.
He's real when he's got you, and he had ideas that I never used to think about with his creative stuff and all that. He's doing rather well now, and I've got all that coming now. So,
Yeah.
So we're on the same kind of path. He's turned his life around, and good luck to him.
Okay, let's get on to Bucky for a minute then.
Bucky,
Give us Bucky.
yeah.
What's Bucky about in there? What did you see from him?
Bucky, I've got to laugh because every time, even if I look at him, I laugh.
Yeah.
Because Bucky was one of the realest
Yeah.
that I ever met. Yeah. Turned his life around in there. Used to
Yeah.
smoke and rob everybody. Very, very strong. Bucky.
Yeah.
And talk the truth. And he talked the truth, Bucky.
Yeah.
And he used to hail out things from the landing railings, and he'd call someone's name, like, and say something, but no one would answer back. It's different levels of BADMAN.
Yeah.
You got the ones up there that are really, you're not really gonna like call it on with.
Yeah.
Some do. Some think they can call it on with, but obviously, you got to know then there's another level of a lot of man that can fight and know how to survive. You ain't really taking no check, and you can't really violate so easy. You got that level there, and then you got the level after that that are wannabes.
So with Bucky, you never see nobody ever.
No, never.
Nah.
I never. 10 man tried to rush him one day. He still went in there.
Yeah.
And he got cuts. He got cuts on his head and blah blah blah. But he went round there on his arm.
But he come back.
Yeah, he come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was real problems. Bucky.
Okay, let's get on to the man, Gary Nelson. Obviously, you've told us he's top of the list.
Yeah.
What was you like in there with him? Like, how did you come to your opinion? What did you see from him?
Well, it wasn't so much because obviously he's seen sides of me that are drug related.
Yeah.
Other people have seen sides of me, like when I'm clean and I'm on form and I'm doing stuff on my own in there. Like he's only seen selected things. But I remember I've seen him on road as well, like a couple of times as well. So I've seen that as well.
Yeah.
And I know how he acts. So I can give you some funny stories as well about when he holds up traffic. And he should chat up women and stop the cars and let the whole road's bibbing and all that. And I'm saying to him, "Oh, look, get back in the car." And he comes back, he whispers something in their name, and he's got a number. And when he comes back, I said to him, "How did you get that number there? What did you say?" And the girl was Chris. You know what I mean? So he's got game in all other little ways. But yeah, I saw a lot, with the screws. He's how genuine he is, because a lot of people let Gary down. He's done a lot of things for people, and in return, there wasn't. As far as I see it, they can say what they want and what they think. I think a lot of people let him down. Yeah. And that's my personal opinion. Yeah. And he helps so many people, and from all walks of life. Yeah. So and when he has to switch roles to go onto the BADMAN thing, because remember his roles. Yeah. He can do a whole heap of variety of things. Yeah. It's not just because he was a warlord or he can turn it on when he has to. That's not just him. Yeah. No, that's not his whole character. No.
Okay, well let's try and clean up a few of the bits with him for people that have got their suspicions and they've heard stories. Yeah. One of the things is a lot of people like to shout his name out. Yeah. They like to make out they're associated with him. Yeah. It's like they're bigging up their own ego. You get me? Like, yeah, I know Gary, I done this, I done that. Most of the time they never even knew him. What do you think about that? What do you think about the fact when people are still screaming his name and they don't even know him?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would, because it sounds, because if you know the system and you know people and you've been around, then you can call his name, and that that buys you a few minutes. Yeah. Because people are going to go, "Oh yeah, really?" Boom. I ain't gonna lie. In the early bits when I was a kid, I'd say that he was my brother-in-law, cousin, everything. Yeah. It used to help, but in the end you realise it's not that way.
Yeah, but on his side, he's sitting in there, he's trying to do his time, and every 2 minutes someone else is screaming association with him.
Yeah, but some of it, you've got to be careful. A lot of it could be, but he has met everybody, and but it'd be different to what what it really is. I've been around Gary, and you know, people will call his name on a lot of things, some things, and it's not. They might not be true.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be really careful of that. You know, I'll just tell you what I saw and what I know of him as a person.
Yeah.
And the real Gary, that's what you know, you get to see from spending a bit of time, you know,
yeah,
with him. You get to understand what he's really like.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that goes on to my next question,
Yeah.
where you said a lot of people might have seen him, associated him, and thought it was what he was. What hit was, sorry, when it wasn't that.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying now. I've received like a message from someone who's really close to Gary.
Yeah.
At this moment, most probably the closest person there is.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've mentioned your name.
Yeah.
He says that he hasn't got nothing bad to say on you.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
Yeah.
But he's saying he can't class you as a friend. Because when you're not in prison, he doesn't hear anything from you in any way.
Which is because I what happened when I started the acting thing in 2009, I contacted Roger and I contacted Peppy, but there's some things that I needed to get off my chest with Gary. But I spoke to his auntie Rosie and Chunky in 2009. I was trying to sort out some other thing through Chunky knows anyway, and Rosie, lovely lady, and I was going to get in touch with him, but you know, I rang a man and he said, oh, he blows hot and cold with you. But I'm being honest with you, I'm not saying it because, you know, some of the things I saw, experienced with my own eyes on the road, in jail and everything, Darren.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I lived my whole life in there. I've done 37 years since I was 12 behind the door. I've been all places. Sometimes I was ready, sometimes I wasn't, right? Sometimes the food and my madness and all the but I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, in our ghettos, the communities from London, there has never been nothing better than Gary.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, honestly, it's going to hurt some people, but you've got to be, I'm telling you from what I saw. And remember, Gary went to private school. Not a lot of people know that. Very, very intelligent, and I'll tell you the God's honest truth, he's got a heart of gold. You know, Austin, Roger Vincent, Calder, Quincy, you know, you put all these names. Remember, I've got loads more good-hearted boys. Very, very, you know, true, honest, and managed.
Yeah.
The heat. So if you're talking about the heat, I was a raving nutter and I still managed to sell through.
Yeah.
You know, and got everybody giving me stuff and whatnot and everything. Look at that, how you want.
Yeah.
You know, I had to do some dirty things and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to look for Gary.
Yeah.
And whatever way you look, whether he wants to see me or not, I will be contacting him soon. I'm turning my life around. I'm in the process. You know, I'm writing a book. I'm writing a play.
Yeah.
He's in there, whatever. You know, the things he did for me as well, in jail as well, Darren, has to be highlighted. And a lot of the time I can't say, all right, I sailed through all them years relatively unscathed.
Yeah.
And kept up a whole heap of absolute nonsense. You know, remember, I've got my faith now. I'm a Christian since I died. I was in intensive care. But Gary, there's people like Gary and those bigger figures over the years when it's all gone tits down for me.
Yeah.
And they're just their presence alone can get you out of trouble. And it is a fact. I'm telling you. You know, it's not for the swiftest who can endure it. And what I saw from Gary from all types, I don't care what anyone says. I've got to tell you, on road, he was doing that thing on his own way before anybody else, without any help.
Yeah.
So he did that, what all they're all doing, he was doing on his own without a gang. You know, some of them things they talk about he didn't really do. You know, there's stitch-ups involved in some of them. You know, that he might be able to tell you, I didn't realise he was in contact with him like that. But now we're speaking about him. But in my submissions, after meeting everybody that you can think of and you can call, from white people, black people, Turkish things and all that, everything that I saw, that if you ever wanted to aspire to be, and the good thing about Gary, when I say, a man says to him, I want to do that, Gary says, no, don't do that. Before I ever went to the Catties, he said, don't come there. You know, he'd tell you not to follow the way that he did it, and he'd have his own reasons for the way that he explains it. But I will tell you that in my top 5, I would have to say that Gary Tyson was the greatest of all time.
Okay, well, I'm not going to give too much on his name because he don't want that, so I'm going to do one last thing on him and then we're done.
Yeah.
Obviously, out here, there's bare stories.
Yeah.
All over the gaff, there's stories of this happened, that happened, the other happened.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, in the time you was round him, you see things, everyone see things. Did anyone ever get the better of Gary in any situation he had in them jail cells?
Look, unless you're telling me something new and something's happened, because I'm not in touch with the criminal fraternity, whatever the cat is, but I can, as my knowledge and everything that I've seen, and with everybody that I know, I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me that he had a defeat of some kind.
Yeah.
So you got to tell me, and I'll tell you that whatever the ones that you talk about, whether it was a draw, whether it was close, or whether it mattered really, you know. But in reality, Gary took on whoever was anybody who wanted it.